Hello and welcome to Ace Podcast Nation. My name's Pan, aka the Greek Leek, and we're doing a few short podcasts on Wales football team, different aspects of the squad, etc. This one is going to be specifically about Rob Page. Just to let you know about myself, I started watching Wales in December 1983, a home game against Yugoslavia. The old Yugoslavia obviously split up now. And so I've been supporting Wales for over 40 years. Went to the Euros in 2016. Had a fantastic time traveling around Toulouse, Bordeaux, and Lille. Three best matches. Probably the best football day of my life. Supporting Wales was obviously in Lille against Belgium. Absolutely amazing night that was. So went to the Qatar for the World Cup. Watched a couple of games there. Not as good, obviously, as the Euros in 16, but it's a great experience going over to Qatar and watching us at least score against USA, although the game against Iran was another story. So, tonight I want to discuss the manager, Rob Page. Took over, obviously, from Ryan Giggs, coach to Ryan Giggs, and obviously, it was a difficult situation with the court case that was going on. So, fair dues to Rob Page, he stepped in. And, we were successful in the Euros, again to the Euros 2020 and the World Cup 2022. Obviously, Gareth Bale was the main man, but obviously a lot of other players performed as well. So credit where credit's due. But I've got to be honest, and I want to talk about tonight. I don't believe Rob Page should be our manager. When we went into the qualifying of the Euros for this year's tournament in Germany, you looked at the group and obviously you could say that Turkey were slight favourites, but there was no reason why we couldn't come second in that group. Poland have been a fading team for many years. People talk about, they've got Lewandowski, but if you look at Poland as a team, they haven't had this team they've got at the moment is one of their worst teams in the last 25 years. Going back years ago when I was a kid, Boniek, etc. But they had a number of quality players, and we went into that tournament, I think, with high expectations to finish at least second. It was a realistic to achieve that, and we didn't do it. So we ended up going through the playoffs. Very, very fortunate to have two home games. First game against Finland, okay, couple of decent players again, but we got through that as we were expected to do at home. And then the Poland game. And yes, we have never beaten Poland before because, like I said, if you look at Poland's teams over the years, 70s and 80s, they were very good. But there was no reason for us not to go in this game confident to beat them. And we could say we were unlucky with Ben Davies's goal that was slightly offside, but it was there for the taking against Poland that night. And I personally think that if we had a top manager, he would have made decisions in that game which would have helped us get over the line. Now, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and we can all talk about it after the event, and say, well, you should have done this and that. But it's the fine margins that the difference between winning and losing. And that's why certain managers are more successful than others. They know in that minute moment, with minutes to go in extra time, that we had Aaron Ramsey on the bench with penalties coming up. And again, my understanding is, of course, we practice penalties, but we didn't do it enough. And in terms of the goalkeepers, we should have utilised someone like an Adam Davies specifically for penalty shootouts, because I don't know if you remember a few years ago, for a World Cup, I think it was 2020 World Cup, that in the qualifying, that Australia played Peru in a winner takes all game to get to the World Cup, and they brought on their sub goalkeeper who looked like someone you'd meet down the pub, and but his job was specifically, penalties, and obviously he got them over the line. So I just think if if we brought on Ramsey, if we done proper research with the spot kicks and everything else, because okay, you say anything can happen, but again, why is it that certain countries, like historically the Germans, always take fantastic penalties? You know, there's got to be something in it, and it's practice, practice, practice. And I just believe that we should have won that game. There was the disappointment afterwards. I was devastated we didn't go through, and obviously with the Euros coming up now, the next couple of weeks, we should be packing our bags and going. Like when we went to Bordeaux, there was 24,000 Welsh fans there. It was an absolute amazing time, and I think there's no better place to have a football tournament than Germany. Very hospitable. The people there are fantastic. Easy to get to. Would have been an amazing thing for us to experience. So we are where we are. If you look at our performances over the last 18 months, in the last 19 games, we've only won 5. And out of those 5 we've won, 2 of those against Gibraltar and Latvia. And it's just not good enough. And I know, obviously, post Gareth Bale, we should be saying, well, we're never going to have Gareth Bale again. But there is a lot of talent in that Welsh squad. I just don't think he's utilised it as best he could. So I'd be interested to hear what you think. I know, obviously, he's our manager at the moment. We've got games coming up, friendlies against Gibraltar and Slovenia, and then we've got the Nations League coming up. There's the next 8 games. I think 2 of those obviously against Turkey, but if we're not winning 4 or 5 of those games, then huge question marks are going to be raised about Rob Page, because our expectations have gone up, and there's a reason for that. Our standard of player has gone up. We've got some good young players coming through, and there's no real reason why we can't qualify for future Euros with the right manager in place. So I'd be interested to hear what you think. I personally think Ryan Giggs should have been installed. The court case is over. It's done and dusted. Ossian Roberts, who had an amazing season at Como, where Fabregas is at as well as a coach, got them promoted to Serie A, should be, head coach of Wales without question. And, I would have liked to have seen Giggsy and Ossian Roberts, but maybe that's for the future. I suppose talking about other managers when you've got another manager in place, maybe it's not the right thing to do, but I just think that the next few games, the pressure is going to ramp up on Rob Page, because the expectations were that we should have qualified these Euros. And it'd be great to find out your views, what you think of the manager, what you think of whether, if you don't think he should be the manager, who you think should be the manager, the next manager moving forward. How do you think we're going to get on in the next few games in the Nations League? And so I'm going to be doing a few shows. My next show is going to be about the current Welsh squad for these upcoming friendlies, and I'm going to do a show as well about Wales all-time best 11. So looking forward to speaking to you again.